Rwanda begins with reaffirming our sincere commitment to regional peace and cooperation. We remain supportive of the regional processes, and we believe regional processes are the most effective path to durable peace and security in our region. Partners from the region and beyond are all calling for peace, a long-lasting solution that will take into consideration the concerns of all parties. Rwanda shares this position and is willing to do its part to achieve this goal. Mr. President and Council members, the Security Cooperation Framework was signed in 2013 as a landmark initiative, a bold and collective commitment to end the recurring cycle of conflict in DRC and by extension the region. It was meant to address the root causes of instability and build mutual trust among states and among the peoples of the region. Mr. President, Council members, yet 12 years later, we are still confronting the very same challenges that the Peace and Cooperation Framework was designed to address. Key pillars of the Peace and Cooperation Framework was addressing the root causes of the problems, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of armed groups, and still remains to be resolved. Instead, we are witnessing the continued presence of foreign and domestic armed groups mushrooming, which pose a significant threat to the region and to DRC itself. In this connection, Council members, FDLR remains the most security threat in the region. Despite more than 20 Security Council resolutions passed in this Council since 2003. Today, FDLR continues to recruit, train, and commit atrocities, including sexual violence, ethnic cleansing, and mass killings. Now, FDLR has graduated to being integrated into FARDC before your own eyes. This is no longer a secret, but a fact based on the reports of the Secretary General presented in this Council. Therefore, FDLR and FARDC coalition undermines both regional stability and the Peace and Cooperation Framework itself. No country, Rwanda included, should accept the existential threat posed by such groups. Entertaining or legitimizing the FDLR, or even tacitly supporting this armed group only exacerbates the conflict. Mr. President, Council members, 12 years since the Peace and Cooperation Framework was signed, it is time for a candid evaluation of its implementation. The root causes of conflict, ethnic discrimination, armed groups proliferation, and impunity continue to foster in DRC. Resources have been spent, resolutions adopted, yet we are far from being from square one. Mr. President, Council members, despite these challenges, Rwanda remains optimistic and committed to full implementation of the Peace and Cooperation Framework. We are convinced that under the supervision of this Council and in coordination with the regional partners, we can break free from the cycle of violence and bring lasting peace to our Great Lakes region. In this regard, Mr. President and Council members, Rwanda proposes the following steps to support full implementation of the Peace and Cooperation Framework. Number one, disarm and neutralize the FDLR and all its splinter groups. This Council should ensure the full enforcement of its resolution with no selectivity and hold accountable to all those who support and collaborate with FDLR. Number 2, condemn hate speech and ethnic incitement in DRC. The Security Council must take a firm stance against the hate speech and xenophobia in the DRC that fuels violence, divisionism, and persecution of Congolese Tutsis. Third, support regional joint efforts through the EAC and SADC processes. Rwanda calls on the UN Security Council to fully support the ongoing African-led processes which provide the best chance to reach a lasting peace in our region. Complementary initiatives in this process, Rwanda welcomes them through the confidence-building measures undertaken by the State of Qatar, as it further supports the current positive momentum. Rwanda also welcomes the recent visit to the region by the United States Senior Advisor for Africa, Mr. Mossad, and we welcome their pragmatic approach aimed at addressing the root causes of the problems. And fourth, strengthen the role of the Special Envoy in the region. We call on the Special Envoys of the Secretary General to work in close coordination with the EAC and SADC-led processes. His good office should align with the regional mechanisms to ensure a unified international support. And fourth, we demand ownership by the DRC itself. The DRC must confront its internal contradictions. Externalizing or scapegoating Rwanda for its own problems will not solve the problem. Blame games have become their business. But this is just a painkiller. They must own up this issue. I also wish to emphasize one thing, that the continued violation of hardly obtained ceasefire by Wazalendos, a militia allied with FARDC, without any condemnation by the Council, is a total lack of ownership of the processes, and the DRC relegates political responsibility to militias. Mr. President, in closing, Rwanda remains fully committed to the peace and cooperation framework. We continue to believe its promise. But that promise will only be realized if it's supported by the genuine accountability, regional alignment, and bold political leadership of DRC, the region, and this Council. We call on this Council to stand firmly behind the regional efforts of EAC and SADC and to ensure that the Special Envoy's mandate is used effectively to support and complement these initiatives. Rwanda looks forward to working with all partners to transform the Great Lakes region into a zone of peace, stability, and permanently get rid of armed groups and the legacy of genocide. I thank you very much.